from behind us to try and make it spin. Okay, we just bottomed out then. Car's a bit too low. Right folks, so welcome back to another video. As promised, we're going to be addressing the GTI's handling concerns, mainly the whole wheel hop topic. As you know, if you own one of these cars or any kind of high-powered front-wheel drive thing, when you add more power you tend to get more wheel hop. It gets quite violent. In some cases it feels like it's going to break your windshield. But yeah, the plan is we're going to head down to MRC Tune-In, show you all the bits I've got. Then once we're done, we'll take it for a drive. I'll sort of give you guys a sort of conclusion towards the end of what you need to buy in order to cure it. But yeah, let's get started. We'll start on this side. So this is a genuine VW Audi aluminium subframe for the MQB platform. Now those of you who are familiar with the different models will know that this is standard on a GTI Club Sport S, the Mark 7. And to go with that, I've gone for a bunch of Whiteline parts. So all of this here is from Whiteline. So this is a set of aluminium control arms. It already has their bushes inserted, so you don't have to worry about changing those out. And then moving over to here, we've got a set of anti-roll bars, both front and rear, and the drop links as well. So all nice and fresh with all the new bolts. I think there's an RS3 on the dyno, so we'll give it a second. And lastly, on this side we have got a set of ball joints, so I decided to just go for new items. So you can essentially build up the subframe off the car and just drop the old one off and lift the new one on. So these ones are a bit fancy. They're a roll center correction kit. So I'll give you a quick recap of what's under here. So standard subframe, not an aluminium product. Even the anti-roll bars are stock. Obviously we have got the B16 dampers on there, but bushes are going to make a huge difference to wheel hop. On the Mark 5 platform I was a big fan of the anti-lift kit, but the control arm design is different on these, so the bush is facing this way rather than on the side. So yeah, in theory, Dean, all of this is going to drop off in one sort of assembly then? Yeah,
just pull all the subframe off in one go, get the other one built up, swap over, you've got your headlight level sensors and stuff.
Yeah.
And then just get it back in one go, easiest way to do it.
And just like that, the subframe's off.
Just like that.
So yeah, if you wanted to have a look at a Mark 7 with no subframe, there you go. There's the downpipe. Brakes are still holding up from the DIY I did in the summer, so that's another good sign. Sorted. Now if you wanted a part number for this aluminium subframe, that's it over there. Literally just type in Audi A3 subframe on eBay, and if it looks like this, it'll be the one. They make a big deal about it now on the market, having an aluminium subframe, but every A3 had it before. So yeah, VW group hierarchy and all that. Okay, so all drop link out, so we're gonna match the length essentially. These are adjustable in the center, aren't they?
Yep, adjustable. So we usually match the length of the original ones to start off with as like a baseline, and then you can adjust them from there once you're all set up for the alignment.
So despite obviously the car being 492 PS and it's got a diff and all these fancy things, the ACC sensor still remains incorrectly positioned from the very first inspection we did. Yeah, it's all about priorities, I guess. Yeah, there's loads of different colors going on now. We've got red calipers, we've got blue springs, a yellow shock absorber, an orange drop link. Okay, so the old subframe here in some better lighting. You can have a look. It's a fair bit of crustiness going on there, but overall not too bad. But that's 132,000 miles for you. So first we're going to put the arms on.
Yeah, we'll get the arms on.
Then
that allows us to get the level sensors off and onto that one.
Yep.
And then we'll put the anti-roll bar on and a dog bone.
Yep.
Dog bone insert to do.
Yeah, so we've got this rubber insert here, just basically fills the void. And the best thing to do here is put a little time lapse in, see it all being built up, and then we'll catch up on the other side. Okay, and for the next part, getting this whole assembly back onto the car, should all just line up as per before. I did go ahead and get some new bolts, well, mainly for this one. Did get a few with the subframe, but ideally you want to change everything, especially if the car is older. Okay, so that lines up the steer rack as well, that particular bolt.
So little collars sit in there, that locates it.
Yep.
It's nice to get these in first so that the sort of steering rack is sat where it should be before you go all the way up.
Yeah, a lot less of a nightmare than a N54 335i. Okay, so it's a few days later, some more bits have arrived, mainly this operated dog bone. So this was the last piece of the puzzle. I was waiting on this in the earlier shots you saw. But yeah, we're going to be fitting this along with the rear anti-roll bar because we ran out of time last week. And yeah, we'll finally get it all back together and I will take you for a drive and give you some impressions. Right, so Dean's just found this light. It's really powerful. You can probably illuminate this whole garage with just one little torch. Those are the brackets, aren't they?
Yeah, these are the D-bush brackets, so these usually crowed up pretty good. These bolts aren't very nice, but they are coming out, so.
So what's just snapped then, this here? Removing this D bracket?
Yeah, D-bush bolt. So they've got captives on the back. Usually you snap the captive off.
Yeah.
This was just that corroded, it's just snapped the bolt head straight off.
Is there any room for it to push out here? So that way? Yeah, there you go. Anti-roll bar out. Okay, so the rear anti-roll bar, just like the front, has a few different settings for how stiff you want it. So we've put the front on soft and we're going to put the rear one on the hardest setting just to eliminate some of that understeer, but that usually does introduce a bit of oversteer. Obviously it's front wheel drive, so it's not going to be crazy or anything, but still it might have a bit of lift off oversteer, you don't know. I think we'll give it a try. You can always adjust it later on. So yeah, the outer one is the softer setting and the inner one is the harder setting. Makes sense because it means there's less flex. Okay, and now the final part of today's install, let's say, operating the dog bone. Right, so the lighting arrangements are a bit different in this corner of the workshop. So we've got this again. Give it a comparison of the two side by side when Dean stopped struggling there. Whiteline part's sort of hollowed out, but does look a bit wider, a bit more beefier. So hopefully this should stop the engine rocking about as much. Yeah, the torque wrench has come out, so we're all satisfied now that it's being properly assembled, of course. It's all about the click. That's a lovely click, that is.
There we have it. Just got to tighten that one up now, it's in position and we're all good. Alright
folks, so now that we've fitted all them parts, we need to see if this thing still wheel hops. Now I'm going to admit one thing. You know, in the first drive video, you might have noticed the car wasn't actually that crazy. It seemed pretty controlled. And the reason for that is I filmed that after the front subframe and the arms were on, because it was about a week sort of delay until the dog bone arrived. And I had to get that first drive video out. So you already got a taster of what it's like in that video. But now we've got that in addition to the control arms. And yeah, we'll see where it's like. We're on some decent back roads. We'll try and find somewhere that's a bit more quieter. It's a bit busy on this stretch. We've got a little gap here. Leave traction on for now. Jeez. That thing. Okay. That's quite surprising. I haven't really given it much since I've fitted the dog bone. Okay, so initial impressions straight off the bat. The car feels a lot more connected to my right foot. There's less of a slop, which is, I suppose, the whole point of a dog bone upgrade. But I've never actually had one in any car, so it's quite insightful. Okay, we'll boot it with traction off now. Well, that's interesting. Have you noticed that there's no like cabin intrusion at all? It just spins. Well, that even spin that much. Right, try a second again. Jesus. Oh my god. This thing's fast. I haven't driven it for a few days and yeah, I wanted to say my first impressions on these handling upgrades for this video. Forgot how bloody quick it is. Especially after getting out of the RS3, that's a fast car, but this just feels like it's like a little fly. It just gets off and goes. Jesus. Okay, all seems good so far. First gear, I'm put traction off again. Ounce of wheel hop at all. Fair play, Whiteline, fair play. This thing's an absolute animal with these upgrades, man. I'm genuinely surprised. I thought it would be a bit better, but now there's this whole kind of... I haven't even had an alignment done. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, I'm saving the Geo setup. I'm going to get one done, like look at some specs and stuff, and I want to get it properly dialed in. So this is just with like a basic, we've got the wheel pointing straight, that's about it. And I've got old engine mounts. Oh, this thing's rapid, man. it like picks you up and just throws you down the road. There's no other way to explain it. See, when the car was totally standard, it would wheel hop even in the lightest situations. Like, it wouldn't even have to be the car's like under loads of stress or anything. You go back and watch some of the early videos. I think the best way to see is watch the very first drive, because the car was stage 1 in that, the unknown stage 1, and it was harder to put the power down as a stage 1 car with old bushes than this 500 horsepower maniac. The car definitely feels a bit more on its toes as well. Obviously we have got a bunch of aluminium up front. I'm not going to claim like I can feel a huge difference, but there's definitely something there. And the old subframe was out a bit slightly, so that's probably, you know, an additional feeling that I'm experiencing. Right, there's no one behind us to try and make it spin. Okay, we just bottomed out then. Car's a bit too low. But yeah folks, I think this is a good place to end today's video. I think we've definitely achieved what we set out to do, that's cure the wheel hop. Now I know there's going to be one question on a lot of your folks' minds, and that is, hold on Hamza, have I got to spend that much money just to get rid of this issue? No you don't. Obviously I wanted to do like the ultimate Mark 7 setup, so I've gone all the way and obviously done loads of other bits as well. But you can also just get operated bushes for your existing control arms. A Whiteline do sell them as well, so if you can't quite stretch the aluminium arms, I do recommend doing that. On the Mark 5 it used to be the anti-lift kit, which was at the back and kind of like this way, whereas in the Mark 7 it's a pressed bush, so it's a bit more of a faff to do. Maybe you want to get new arms and just put them in and swap them over. The dog bone as well. Now I do notice a lot of people say that the dog bone is a sole kind of fix for wheel hop. I don't think it is, because I did the arms first, then drove it, then put the dog bone out, and most of the wheel hop was gone with the control arm bushes. But it definitely does help because there's less slop, so do both of those things, and it won't set you back too much for the driving pleasure you'll get. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like on it. Also a big shout out to Whiteline. They are indeed supporting the GTI. They did help me out with the Mark 5 many years ago, so when it came to this project it only made sense to get in touch with them. But yeah folks, subscribe for a lot more content to come. Let me know what else you want to see in the GTI. I'll see you in a few days time.